What's up, Comic Frontline? It's Mr.J here, and I am here to bring you the first official review, TV review for Comic Frontline, and actually in episode by episode form. And I'm excited because it is for the Shannara Chronicles TV series that's on MTV. I'm here to review the first two episodes, which was the premiere, the 2 hour premiere. I'm sorry this is a little late. I was doing another live show like right after the Shannara Chronicles episodes finished. So I had to record the episode while doing the live show. So that's why I'm uploading this a little late. But forgive me. But don't worry, guys. They have the first 4 episodes up on the MTV app. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna watch those 4 episodes, or those next two, and then I'm going to pre-record and then schedule and upload. So right after the episode airs and finishes up, you'll see the review pop up right on Frontline. So next time I won't be late. Thank you, MTV app. Anyway, that all aside, what did I think about this series, and what exactly is this series? Well, the Shannara Chronicles is based on the best-selling Shannara series. It's several different series in the Shannara world, written by Terry Brooks, a very celebrated, very popular fantasy author. This is actually one of the very few series that is based off of a book where I've never read the book. I've heard of it. I've heard nothing but great things, but I've never read the book. Read Lord of the Rings. Read Game of Thrones. Read The Hunger Games. I did not read Divergent. I've read Shadowhunters, but I have not read the Shannara Chronicles. But let me tell you guys, even though from what I hear, this changes a lot drastically from book to show, this makes me really interested in wanting to read the Shannara Chronicles books, because this show blew me away with these first 2 episodes. So I'm going to use a lot of Star Wars imagery to kind of parallel some of these characters and whatnot, so you guys can better understand. Although this show itself is kind of like Star Wars meets Lord of the Rings meets Game of Thrones, and it's pretty awesome. So essentially, we have three main characters. Well, technically four, I guess. So we have our first main character, who is the princess of the Elven race, and her name is Amberly. And she decides that she doesn't want to be just a princess, and so she decides to partake in this yearly ritual, where they go through this kind of course and this physical test, so that they can choose 7 people to become the next class of the chosen. And apparently the chosen are these 7 chosen people who are assigned to guard the elk crease, which is this giant sacred tree that's the kind of center of the Elflands. And this tree, legend has it, each of the leaves of this tree holds a demon, has a demon sealed within it, and it's the job of the chosen to make sure that the Elcrease is upkept, so that the demons never reign ever again, because that was the whole point of the War of the Races, which was addressed and it happened 30 years ago, and we'll get more into that when we talk about Will. But so the princess character Amberly, she goes through this gauntlet. She manages to pass through, and she becomes a member of the Chosen. When she touches the Elcrease as part of the ritual, she gets visions of the future, these demons coming, and her city in flames, demons feasting on the dead, all this crazy stuff. And so she tries to run away to avoid it, but then she realizes, no, I need to face this, but I need someone's help. So she goes to find her aunt, and because her aunt has witnessed magic before, because at this point in time, after 30 years after the War of the Races, the new generation just thinks of magic as a myth, something that didn't exist. But the people who have lived through the War of the Races know that magic is a real thing. It's true, all of it. Yeah. And it's pretty intense. So that's Amberly's story. That's her section of it, and she's really cool. She has learned skills from her uncles, like how to fight, how to think on her feet. She's very quick-witted. I really like her. And so now we go to our second main character, whose name is Will. And Will is a half-elf, uh, kind of your Luke Skywalker-esque character. Whereas our first character was like the Leia, our second character is like the Luke, and he's kind of the nobody. He lives in a small village. He's half-elf. So everybody makes fun of him because he doesn't have the full point in his ear, so they call him short tips and make fun of that. So yeah, and his dad was a half elf. His dad was a drunken deadbeat from what he believes, and his uncle is telling him that he doesn't need to follow in his dad's footsteps when his mother gives him the elf stones as she dies. And then fate has it to Will that he runs into the this as he goes to journey to this place where he can learn to become a healer, because he wants to be able to heal people and save people, like so that he doesn't have to go through what he went through with his mother again, and he can actually help people and not feel helpless. So he tries to go to that place so he can learn to be a healer, but on the way he gets kind of stopped by this reaver. It's called a rover, I guess. And the rover character is this girl, and this girl is kind of the Han Solo-esque character. She's kind of the charming smuggler type. There's a lot of mystery behind her. You don't really know much about her. You don't trust her. I knew she was gonna drug. As soon as she was pouring some wine, I'm like, she's drugging him, and she's gonna rob him blind, and that's what she did. And we find out more about what her life is like, and her relationship with her father, and they're trying to go after Will because her father thinks that he'll have not more knowledge about the elf stones. So I have a feeling the father's going to try to use the elf stones magic for his own personal gain, stuff like that. But then the rover chick is going to turn on them, turn on her dad, and join the crew. So that's kind of also the rover chick, who is one of our other main characters. And our final main character is probably the coolest character besides Princess Amberly in this, at least so far. And that is Manu Bennett's character, Alanon, who is basically, you take Gandalf, you take Deathstroke from Arrow, and you take Old Ben Kenobi from Star Wars. You mash them up together into one badass character, and you've got Alanon, because Alanon is the last druid. He's a badass, he's got magic, he's got wisdom, he's been through the War of the Races. He actually helped Will's father, who was apparently the savior, and he's the person who helped stop and win the War of the Races and defeat the demons and all that stuff. However, he did it by using the magic of the elf stones, and as we all should know, magic comes with a price, and for Will's father that was his sanity, and that's why he ended up being this drunken deadbeat, and which is why Will's uncle, very much like Uncle Owen, warned Luke about not listening to the druid or the wise older guy and following in his dad's footsteps, because it might get him killed. And it very might get him killed. And Manu Bennett was in this. Excuse my garage. Manu Bennett was in this druid hypersleep, so he didn't age within the 30 years. So then when he comes back, everybody's all surprised. They thought magic died out. The king is especially surprised, and he welcomes Manu Bennett back, and he's like, if you're here, that means there's something wrong with the Elcrease. And then he examines the Elcrease. We find out the Elcrease is dying. These leaves are falling, demons are being released, and then we also get our glimpse of the big bad, our Sauron, if you will, if you want to use Lord of the Rings terminology, and it's this dark druid guy, and whoa, that guy, we only see a little bit of him, but man, this guy had a presence, man, this guy was intimidating, and I can't wait to see more of what his backstory is, and what he can do. Because, man, if this is what they're going up against, I'm afraid for our crew. And you know what? That's what a series should do. This premiere did its job and then some. I like all of the characters. I'm not particularly fond of the Rover girl, but I think that's more of I'm interested, but I don't like her because of what she's done so far, and she's made kind of a bad impression. But once you see her family life, you kind of understand. So I'm rooting for her, but she's not on my favorites list yet. Uh, but overall, the world building was very well done, very well handled. I liked the baseline that they've established for all the characters. That was very well done. The show itself looks beautiful. The sets, the visual effects, everything. It just looks fantastic. And that's what it's supposed to be. It's a fantasy show. It's supposed to look fantastic and out of this world. And it really hooks you. The pacing for this show was really great. Like, usually with 2 hour premieres, there should be like some spots where it drags, but you're just hooked into the story right from the first scene. And I haven't seen a show that's done that in such a long time. I give Now this show, as much as I'm praising it, it wasn't perfect. That there were some. This is a story that we've heard before 1,000 times, so it's nothing like super super original story wise. But as far as the world goes, I'm very intrigued and very interested. The world itself is very original, even if the whole general plot basis isn't all too original. But that's not the show's fault. This story's been done to death, but this is a really cool twist on that same story. So I'm going to give these first 2 episodes a much deserved 4 out of 5 stars, and I highly recommend you guys check out the Shannara Chronicles on MTV. Do not make the same mistake a lot of you guys did with Teen Wolf and ditch it because of MTV, because trust me, you're going to regret it. Jump on the ground floor with this one, because this show is amazing. Visually, action-wise, the actors did great. It was very well written. The world building is great, and it looks amazing. If you guys have seen Shannara Chronicles, let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. As always, don't forget to like this video. Let me know you enjoyed it. And don't forget to subscribe to Comic Frontline if you haven't already. And also follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and on the Comic Podcast Network. We are proud members, so don't forget to check us out on there. And if you like our live show, Frontline Live, don't forget, it's also on iTunes, so check us out on there. We'd really appreciate it. Well, until next time, guys, this is Jay from Mr.J's Comic Reviews for Comic Frontline, and I'll catch you guys in the next Shannara Chronicles review. And this time it'll be on time, so until then, I'll catch you later. Peace.